We are the fourth. We are Ohio.
Round one of the Ohio Cup went to the Cincinnati Reds. Joey Votto, a six-time All-Star and company, came to Cleveland and won 2 out of 3. Scooter Gennett went into the All-Star break leading the National League in batting average. He has slipped to 4th overall in the NL heading into tonight's series opener. Michael Brantley, coming off a good series in Chicago, had a couple of hits, including a double and a home run. And Yonder Alonso returns to the place where it all began. 10 years ago, Cincinnati made him a first-round pick in the Major League Baseball draft. Indians-Reds tonight here on Sports Time Ohio. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Hard to believe, Arch, this is the first time the Indians all season long have been over the 500 mark on the road. Last year, they were a dynamo away from Progressive Field. This year, it's taken them a while to get going.
Well, earlier in the year, they weren't scoring a lot of runs. They had a couple of tough losses, but they've been scoring some runs. They've been getting some clutch hitting, and, you know, when you hit with runners in scoring position, that certainly helps, and their pitching has been solid, especially the starters. So, that, you know, finally, they're up over that 500 mark when you can see averaging over 6 runs a ball game, winning 12 of their last 16 games. 288 average with runners in scoring position. The starters ERA very good, so it's second best in the majors, just trailing Boston in that set, but trailing Boston, everybody is.
No kidding. Everybody's playing catch up to the Red Sox. Here in Cincinnati, it was a tough place for the Indians to play. They had lost 7 in a row. They won 5 of their last 7, though, since that skid. We'll be back with tonight's play-by-play. Al and Jensen are up next with the showstopper, and we'll check in with Andre Knott, all coming up. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Who But WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. And by Cleveland Clinic Express Care Online. Tap the app for 24/7 virtual visits.
In Cincinnati, as the Indians will try and take home the Ohio Cup. They're currently trailing this season series 2-1, but tonight they can get a win. They are definitely back on track against Cincy. We know they're on track in the Central as they lead it by 12. He's Jensen Lewis. I'm Al Pulowski. Let's take a look at our showstopper from yesterday. And the Seattle Mariners making some noise in the American League West. Looked like they were dead in the water against Houston. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, a home run to tie it, and then in the 10th inning, they would score the eventual winning run.
And the Mariners have won 6 of their last 8 games to pull within 4 of the Astros in the West. And how about their closer, All-Star Edwin Diaz? He is on pace for 63 saves this year, which would break the Major League record of 62 by Francisco Rodriguez. Remember, that happened with the Angels in 2008. He saved all 4 games. He wasn't supposed to be available yesterday, but they got that late lead, and he shut it down.
Well, the West is definitely up for grabs in the American League right now. So we headed upstairs with Matt and Rick, and fellas, tonight we've got the Indians and Reds coming up in just a few moments. Their slider against Capper. Who's going to win this fight? I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
All right. Matt and Rick and the guys and Andre, they're coming up next. Driving Reds, too. Stay here.
.51, 12 games up in the American League Central Division. In the National League Central, bottoms up for Cincinnati, 52 and 66, dead last in the division. Well, it's the pitchers hitting, and that creates a little competition from within. With more on that, here's Andre Notner. Here right sounds of the game.
Thank you very much, Matt. Yes, with the pitchers hitting here in Cincinnati, there is a bit of competition amongst the pitchers, as we all know that they're competitive in everything that they do. So I asked Mike Clevenger and Shane Bieber, will there be a prize given to whoever has the most hits once this series is over?
Gotta be. There's gotta be. Maybe a dinner, but not after I get 2 doubles, it won't be. But.
There it is, 2 doubles from Clem.
He's on top. We'll see. Hitting's really hard.
See. All right. Here's a good question, and I'll talk to others. Who's the best athlete out of all the starting pitchers? Clem?
There's no chance I'm picking any of these guys ahead of me as an athletic ability. He might be able, I mean, have you seen LeBron swing a bat? He doesn't look very good, but he's an athlete.
Beebs, who's the best athlete?
I'm going to go with myself. I mean, I think I showed it. There's no conviction in that at all. I think I showed it in St. Louis. I was able to hit a double, and I hadn't slid in like 8 years, but I went for it anyways, and it looked kind of smooth, so I got to go with myself.
Oh, those guys are great. And it's going to be a fun 3 days.
Yes, it is. I'm still taking Bieber. He's got the lone hit, and he got it.
He's the leader of the clubhouse.
Yes, he is.
Front runner.
Yeah, well, you know that.
Well, tell us about Homer Bailey.
All right. He's going to be our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher, and Homer Bailey having a tough year. 1-9 with an ERA of over 6, and the Reds are 1-14 when he toes the rubber. So, you know, opposition batting average 302. Although Bailey, in his career, he's 3-5 in 8 starts against the Cleveland Indians, and he's 2-1 down here in this ballpark.
Indian starting lineup for Terry Francona, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Francisco Lindor will lead it off. Michael Brantley will bat second. Jose Ramirez hitting third. Yonder Alonso in the cleanup spot. Then Melky Cabrera, followed by Jason Kipnis, who had a good day yesterday in Chicago. Yan Gomes, Greg Allen, and the pitcher Mike Clevenger batting ninth. I'll go with Clev. I think he's going to have a big night.
Well, I hope you're right. I'd like to see him get 2 hits to see if any, you know, he can come back, and then Bieber gets his chance on Wednesday.
I will say this. It was in this ballpark several years ago. Remember, Fausto Carmona almost lost his leg running down the first baseline.
Oh, yeah. I do. I remember, yeah, I've seen some pitchers go deep for the Indians in this ballpark.
And in the old one, too.
Yes, indeed.
Dave Bourbon, Doc Gooden.
CC went straight away central here.
In this park, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 85 degrees, our game time temperature. Just a few clouds overhead. Lindor takes, it's outside 2-0. Frankie trying to get back into an offensive groove. 0 for his last 12.
He just had a tough day yesterday.
Low, 3-0. Homer Bailey deals. And he gets it in the zone, 3-1. Now a full count. Homer Bailey turned 32 back in May. Former first-round pick. He was a 7th overall selection in the 04 draft. And Lindor fouls it in and out of the glove of Tucker Barnhart.
Just a piece to stay alive and get one more swing. He's checking with the umpire to make sure that was a strike. Homer Bailey, a guy they signed for big money and then had a couple of surgeries and been rehabbing a lot ever since.
Lindor yanks it fouled on the right side. He made a total of 26 starts in the previous 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's didn't turn out the way they expected it when they signed him to a big deal.
And the payoff pitch. Lindor with a line drive single into right field.
Well, Lindor finally got a pitch to his liking to get a base hit, and after falling behind, Bailey didn't want to walk him, so he says he's going to make him put it in play, and he did. So he had to come in with something pretty good, and Frankie gets a base hit. So there you go, off to a good start today. Homer Bailey 3 starts ago was very good. He has 2 out of his last 3. His last start, he was rocked by the Mets, going just 3 1/3 innings, giving up 11 hits and 5 runs, but he was getting it together and pitched very well in the 2 starts prior to his last one.
Lindor's taken off. Brantley showing bunt, took a strike, and Lindor is out.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Barnhart got rid of that ball in a hurry. He came up and fired a seed. And I mean, that was a really good throw. Watch how quickly Brantley does exactly what you want to do. He was going to give Lindor a chance. He tries for that swim move, but he's caught. Look at how quickly he got rid of the ball right on target. And he will throw out Frankie for the 7th time.
Down low.
That was the 10th caught stealing for Barnhart behind the plate out of 34 attempts, so that's about 23%.
Brantley went 4 for 12 against the Reds in the first 3 games back in Cleveland.
The Cincinnati team, they have played very well in interleague play. They're 10-5 as a ball club.
He went too far, says third base umpire Chad Whitson on the appeal, and that'll be a strikeout for Bailey, 2 down.
He was nonchalantly trying to act like he didn't swing, but when they checked, he certainly did.
Storylines brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Homer Bailey, the Reds have not fared well. They've lost 14 of 15 games that he has started this year, and the Lindor-Ramirez combo. 11 homers in interleague play, 5 homers against Cincinnati combined. Missed inside.
Jose getting the day off yesterday in Chicago. The Indians were able to put 9 runs on the board.
Tops that foul. Jose Ramirez, over his last 19 games, has a .456 on base percentage. He's drawn 21 walks in those last 19 games.
That's the key. Teams now starting to pitch around him much more than they did earlier in the season.
Down in the dirt, 2 balls and a strike.
And you know, you would think that would happen with Encarnacion now on the disabled list, not hitting behind Jose. Yesterday, Yandy Diaz was in the number 4 hole, but today, with no DH, it's going to be Alonso.
And Ramirez shoots it to left field. That's going to drop for a hit.
How beautiful that is.
It's going to stop with a 2-out single.
Yeah. Let's check out that Cincinnati defense behind Bailey tonight. In the outfield, it'll be Tucker in left field. Williams is in center and Irvin over in right. On the infield, it's Suarez at third, Peraza at short, Jeanette is at second, Votto is at first, and Barnhart doing the catching.
Mark Wegner behind the plate, John Tumpane, Jim Reynolds, Chad Whitson on the bases. Yonder Alonso will bat with runner at first and 2 down. And he sends a fly ball to left. Tucker makes the catch. No runs, 2 hits, 1 left. The Reds are coming to bat when we come back.
Honda starting pitcher, and Mike looking for a win. In his last couple of starts, he pitched much better, especially his last one. He went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits and just the 1 run. Left leading that ball game 2-1. The bullpen gave up a run, and he had a no decision. So he's looking to win his first interleague game this year too. He is 0-2 this year in interleague play.
Jim Riggleman starting lineup for Cincinnati. Jose Peraza leading off. Joey Votto is second. Eugenio Suarez bats third. Scooter Jeanette, Tucker Barnhart, and Mason Williams in the middle. Phillip Ervin, Preston Tucker, and the pitcher Homer Bailey batting ninth. And a ground ball right to Lindor on the first pitch from Mike Clevenger. Peraza retired, one away.
Let's check the Indians defense, brought to you by Chrysler. It is Brantley in left, Allen in center, Cabrera over in right. It'll be Ramirez back in there at third base. Lindor is at short, Kipnis at second, Alonso at first, and Gomes doing the catching.
Here is Joey Votto. Votto recently picked up his 1,700th career hit.
Was it?
He is the 9th Cincinnati Red to reach that milestone. One ball, two strikes, the count.
Yeah, you may get to 2 strikes on Votto, but it's hard to get strike 3 with his eye. He fouls off a lot of pitches. Look how much. See, he finds a way to put it in play as much as he chokes up.
2 down. And it will bring up Eugenio Suarez.
This is just a, you know, put it in play swing right here.
That was literally off the end of his bat.
Yeah, well, look how far he's choking up. He's just trying to let that ball track deep and just put it in play. Well, mission was accomplished, but he didn't hit it too hard.
Suarez has been a solid performer this year. 26 homers, 88 runs batted in. And 3 different times this year he has had a hitting streak of at least 10 games or more.
Look at that, 88 RBIs. He's one out of the lead. Clevenger out throwing strikes all over the place.
The last Cincinnati Reds player to lead the league in runs batted in was Dave Parker in 1985. Swung on and missed. He struck him out with a high fastball, and the Reds go 1-2-3. We are scoreless after 1 in Cincinnati.
Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Second inning, no score. Melky Cabrera will lead it off. His 3-run homer sparked the Indians in the first inning yesterday in Chicago. Melky sends a high drive to center field. Mason Williams will make the catch. One away. Time for the injury report, brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. And finally, some good news to report about Leonis Martin. Chris Antonetti traveled here to Cincinnati, and he wanted to share the update with the players and the coaching staff and the clubhouse. And he did so behind closed doors, and Andre Knott joins us now with more on that.
Well, for a lot of the players, it's been a sigh of relief to know that know a little bit more about what's going on with Martin. They appreciated Chris coming to the team and telling them what's going on. And no one's talking about baseball right now. Everybody just cares about what's going on with his life. His wife and his father are with him back at the Cleveland Clinic. The Indians wanted to thank the Cleveland Clinic as well for the work that they were able to do with him as he's been dealing with this bacterial infection that really just attacked his bloodstream. It's just been a horrible go of things over the last 36 to 48 hours.
A bacterial infection, and they're still not sure how he contracted it, but it produced toxins in the bloodstream, and that's when it started to affect his internal organs, and that's why he was in such dire straits a couple of days ago. But he has improved, and Chris Antonetti also shared that it's not something that can be transferred from one person to the next. So they're not worried about this becoming an issue because, you know, he got sick or other players potentially at risk. The only concern is, how did he contract it in the first place?
And that's the next step that they're going through at the Cleveland Clinic to try to find out how this happened to him. And as soon as they know that, and they have more information, that they want to know that to help him as best they can.
There are 2 down.
Well, and I'm sure a long recovery to take place.
The one thing Chris Antonetti said is that his progress will not be measured in days but in weeks. So this isn't something like, well, he feels better tomorrow, then that's a good thing. We need to see how he does week to week.
Very serious.
But the good news is he's progressing in a positive direction right now. It's just very scary. One day he's your teammate, he's playing in Major League Baseball. A couple of days later, he's in the clinic, and you hear reports that he might be fighting for his life, and that shook everybody. How does that happen to somebody so young?
That's the scariest thing, when you never know, and nobody can say a word about it, so you automatically think the worst. But at least it's news right now, and it's good to hear. And now it's just a matter of hoping that he can pull through this, whenever it may happen.
0-2 pitch to Yan Gomes. And he smacks one up the alley in left center field. That'll get down, and one hops the wall. Gomes into second base with a 2-out double. That's his 19th of the year.
Yeah, and coming on an 0-2 pitch, so I don't think that's exactly where Bailey wanted to put it, but Gomes smoked it. See, they wanted to climb the ladder. They wanted to elevate the fastball here, but they didn't elevate it enough as Jan smoked this ball. You hear the crack of the bat on that. So they'll get a chance now with 2 outs, and here's where Allen in that number 8 hole got to be a little, I don't know how to say patient, because you have the pitcher on deck, but don't expect to see maybe the normal pitches you would normally see.
Allen 4 for 12 in his last 4 games.
started him off breaking ball to get it in the strike zone, and you see if he tries to expand now and get him to hit his pitch. You have to be a pretty disciplined hitter to hit 8th in this National League in front of pitchers.
Got his fastball, but could not put it in play, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, that's too bad. He had a good pitch to hit there.
Bailey, a Texas native, has thrown 2 no-hitters in his career. One in 2012 and then one the following season. Big ground ball hit to short, and Peraza throws him out. No runs, a hit. Man left in scoring position, middle of the second, no score. Indians pitching since July 25th. In the majors, they're first in ERA, first among starters in ERA, best strikeout to walk, or second best strikeout to walk ratio, and third best in batting average when runners are in scoring position. And Mike Clevenger will go to work against Scooter Gennett here in the second inning. Gennett went into the All-Star break leading the National League in batting average.
Still hitting a nice 307. He was up there about 319, 320.
Gennett was the first Cincinnati Reds player since George Foster to go into the All-Star break leading the National League in batting average. Foster did that in 1979, but did not win the batting title. The last Reds player to do that was Pete Rose back in 1973. The third of his batting crowns here in Cincinnati.
Well, George Foster was a power guy, so you wouldn't expect him to lead the league in hitting. You remember 77 was his year.
Yeah.
Where he had, boy, he was something else.
52 homers and 149 runs batted in that year.
Yeah.
And we're talking 1977.
Yes, indeed, where 50 was just a number out
was
of this
unheard of.
world.
Yeah. And there were no bandboxes in 1977. You had to be a man to hit it out of the ballparks back then.
Well, he was.
And what a nice man. We've had a chance to run into him from time to time.
I still
out
think
in
he
spring
lives
training.
in this area, the Cincinnati area, and maybe he has a car dealership or so.
I remember him playing in that charity golf tournament in Goodyear.
Yes, he did.
Three and one, the count on Jeanette. Foul back out of play. He went into the All-Star break not only leading the National League in batting average, but he had 115 hits. Those are the most hits by a Reds player going to the break since our man Sean Casey at 118 in 1999 going into the All-Star break. Jeanette rolls one to Jason Kipnis. One down.
Clevenger started that first inning out, and he was throwing very hard. And here's his distribution: 53% fastball, 22% on the sliders. His changeup. He had good secondary pitches in his last start. Curveball he will throw up there about 11% of the time.
Tucker Barnhart. Three for 10 against the Indians in Cleveland. A couple of runs batted in.
And that's what you look for Cleb, to stay ahead of the hitters, stay aggressive, and try and pitch from in front of the count. He only had one walk in his last start. Start before that, he didn't walk anybody.
Fly ball to left. Back goes Brantley. Still going back. He's out of room, and it's gone. Indians are complaining that the fan may have reached over that yellow line, but the umpire signals home run. And it's 1-0 Cincinnati. 8th homer of the year for Tucker Barnhart.
Well, he's off to a good start in today's game, throwing out Lindor in the first inning and then going opposite field here.
Here comes Terry Francona, though. He might ask the umpires to go take a look at this.
I think he will, because a fan did reach out. Now, I don't know if they were over the fence or not, but I did see a fan jump up, and it looked like that they came out to catch it. Now, whether they reached over, we will see right here.
Well, it looks like the fan reaches over, but I don't know if he touched it.
What's it, hit the top of the wall and goes over? Okay,
yeah.
He sure did.
So that will stand.
Yes,
Home run.
yeah, it will. I mean, they are going to take a look, and that was the deceiving thing, where he reached over, but it hit the top of the wall and it went into the seats anyway. So I think you're right. It will stand. So that's the 8th home run for Barnhart, and it is the 14th allowed by Mike Clevenger. Here's a little different look. Watch the kid go up. Well, he ended up getting a baseball anyway.
But there is another example of how the ball just flies out of here in this ballpark. Breaking ball misses down and in. Mason Williams has started 12 of the last 15 games since Scott Schebler went on the disabled list.
Yeah, they missed that bat, Schebler. He was leading off the last time Cincinnati came to Cleveland.
Both Scott Schebler and Jesse Winker have right shoulder injuries on the disabled list.
Winker done for the year. He had surgery on his.
Mason Williams is aboard with a 1-out single.
This one catches too much of the plate there. See, it's leaks out and it goes right over the middle. Left-hander's paradise there. You keep the ball down. He gets enough of it to get it through the hole between first and second. So back-to-back hits.
It's going to bring up Phillip Ervin, who at AAA Louisville hit .289 in 48 games this year. 5 homers, 38 runs batted in. But with the Reds making moves prior to the deadline and with the injuries, guys like Ervin, Williams getting opportunities to play. Cincinnati traded Adam Duvall to Atlanta. In exchange, one of the players they received is the on-deck hitter Preston Tucker. Swung on and missed. 1-2 the count. Swing and a miss. He strikes him out.
There you go. I want to see that curveball maybe a little bit more, because this team's a good fastball hitting team. You better locate it. But he comes back now, and you can see this is his really off-speed pitch there that looked like a curveball at 79. Gets his second strikeout.
Left-handed hitter Preston Tucker. Cincinnati sent Adam Duvall to the Braves, and they got Preston Tucker and 2 pitchers in return. Two balls, no strikes. And he just missed again. 3-0. You do have the pitcher on deck. Though Homer Bailey has been around long enough, and
yeah,
he can do a decent job at the plate.
Well, you just don't throw a cookie here. You go at him hard, and you try and hit your spots on the edges. And you try and do that for 2 more pitches. And if you happen to walk him, fine. But that's the guy you want leading off the next inning.
One pitch, and he walked him. So instead of leading off the next inning, Bailey will bat with 2 on and 2 out here in the second.
Well, hot off the presses, 2019 All-Star Game merchandise is now available exclusively at Progressive Field Team Shops. You can visit the team shops for all 2019 All-Star product assortment. You can choose from an array of apparel, headwear, and novelty items. Something for everyone. Be the first to get your hands on the All-Star gear.
Swung on and missed. In his career, Bailey a 164 hitter coming into the season, and he's batting 158 on the year.
Consistency.
You're not kidding, huh?
What you like.
His best year with the bat in 2011, he hit a very respectable 282. A couple of doubles.
I think we were in this ballpark in Bailey's first major league start. When was it? Back in 2007, June 8th.
Swung on and missed. Mike Clevenger strikes him out. Reds get on the board first on a Tucker Barnhart solo homer. 1-0 Cincinnati. The game for our Miller Lite Hold True moment. Here in Cincinnati, the Reds have a 1-0 lead as we go to the third inning, and Mike Clevenger will face Homer Bailey. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. More walks and strikeouts this year. Mike Trout, Carlos Santana, Joey Votto, Jose Ramirez at the top of the leaderboard.
All right. Yeah, that's hard to do, especially in today's game when they don't care if you strike out. Hey, Andre, any idea whose bat Clevenger's using?
I know exactly whose bat it is. It's the Jose Ramirez.
Does he have the Ramirez bat?
He's got the Ramirez bat right now, yes. Now, Corey Kluber told me if he doesn't get a hit, the way Clev works, he'll switch bats because it'll be the bat's fault.
Of course it will.
Corey Kluber's a part of this too. Don't forget about him in this race either.
No, you're right. I got my lead.
Well, somebody reminded me that Cookie Carrasco had a double as well in Milwaukee. Now he's not going to get the hit, so he's tied in the lead. He's done.
Yes.
He's tied though with your guy Biebs.
He gets one more crack at it. Clev's got the count in his favor. Lift and separate.
Oh man, nasty pitch.
I know, and he went and got Bailey on a breaking ball. See if Bailey returns the favor.
Struck him out. Stayed with the heat. Third strikeout for Bailey.
When you can put it on that outside corner like he did, you can stay with the heat with a guy that never hits.
Back to the top of the order. Francisco Lindor singled to start the game, but then was thrown out trying to steal. Lindor sitting on 29 homers, 99 runs scored.
Yeah, he was on a run there for a while. He was scoring 2 runs a night. He's been on 99 for a little while.
Yeah. Foul ball came up and hit him.
That little changeup that he's throwing is almost like a splitter. You know, where he puts it between the fingers, or like a fork ball. That is his changeup, so that's why it goes down a lot, sometimes more than others.
Tied him up, struck him out. Back-to-back Ks for Bailey. 2 down in the third.
Start dead batteries with NOCO.
Michael Brantley with 2 down and the base is empty. Batting .324 so far in the month of August, with a homer and 5 runs batted in, covering 10 games. Pulls that foul. One nothing Cincinnati on a Tucker Barnhart solo homer. First of 3 meetings here in Cincinnati between the Indians and the Reds this week. Brantley's taking aim on that Cincinnati dugout.
Yeah, this will conclude our interleague portion of the schedule for 2018.
One ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball up the middle, and it's through. Brantley has the Indians' 4th hit of the night.
Tried to throw that breaking ball to Michael, and it was out over the plate, and he drilled it right back up the middle. It gets right under the glove of Peraza as they were playing him up there. You can see, but he got it to the second base side of it. Some teams play him just a hair over to second base, but he stayed on the shortstop side, and Brantley was able to get it by him. 4 hits now for Cleveland, but another 2-out base hit. They had one back in the second. It was Gomes' 0-2 base hit. Keep the inning going.
And a 2-out hit in the first inning as well by this guy, Jose Ramirez.
Yes, he did.
Ramirez, 34 home runs, 30 doubles. And Bailey gets ahead of him 0-2.
He's got a nice mix working right now. That was a slider.
Missed up high. Outfield for Ramirez is straight away. Left side of the infield shading him Up the middle. Ramirez sends a high fly ball, deep right field, down the line, and it is gone, a home run. Jose Ramirez, his 35th of the year. Now 86 runs batted in, and listen to those Indians fans.
There are quite a few here. Standing up, and I'll tell you what, Jose really did a good job with his hands on this pitch. That ball in off the plate. He's been trying to go inside to a lot of the hitters, but this is one guy you got to really be careful with. He got enough of it. Watch his hands come in. Boy, and he just sliced it down, and I thought Urban in right field lost his glove over the fence, but it stayed in play. He tried to time it, to leap, go over, and he had a good beat on it. But it gets over there for the 35th homer for Jose Ramirez. Oh, with 2 outs, they get him.
See him right there talking about how he had to pull those hands in to get to it, keep it fair. What a job. And now yonder Alonso, he rifles one to left center field. That's up the alley. He's on his way to second base, and that'll be his 17th double of the year. 3 consecutive 2-out hits here in the third.
Boy, that was a really nice swing. Alonso did that yesterday in Chicago. He stayed on the baseball and drives it. When, oh boy, when he's locked in and hitting the ball like that, Matt, he's on it. He's locked in. That ball gets all the way to the wall.
He was a 7th overall pick in the draft back in 08 by Cincinnati, and he told me when he got here, made his debut in 2010, played 22 games, but then the next year he got called up when they traded Johnny Gomes. He played 47 games that year. He hit .330, had 5 homers in just 47 games, 15 runs batted in. He said this was a great place to hit.
Well, the other thing that he took from being here with Cincinnati was getting to know Joey Votto and just his work ethic and how he swings and how he hits. And he said that taught him what he had to do to become a better hitter, watching Joey Votto. And he's also still unhappy about that ball that was taken from him yesterday.
Oh, yeah, well, that's 3 runs. That's another homer and 3 ribbies.
Yeah, he's not happy about it still today.
Well, I don't blame him.
The 0-1, no. The weird thing he told me when he was in Cincinnati, he said they put me in left field. He said, I'm not saying I played left field. I was wearing a uniform and I stood in left field. But he said, I'm not saying I actually played left field.
Well, he's doing just fine at first base. Some men are meant to be on the infield and some guys in the outfield.
Melky Cabrera fouls one back out of play.
5 out of the 6 Indians hits have come with 2 outs. They did that yesterday in Chicago, scoring a lot with 2 outs. But they respond after the Cincinnati home run in the bottom half. They get a 2-out home run to take the lead right back. So that should help Mike Clevenger out.
There's a ground ball right at the second baseman, Jeanette. And the inning is over. But a Michael Brantley 2-out single leads to Jose Ramirez and a 2-out 2-run homer. And the Indians lead it 2-1. Tomorrow night after the ball game, don't miss the Tribe Report, brought to you by GMC. Alan Jensen will talk about the Indians' 2 MVP candidates and 2 Cy Young candidates. Al will talk with Bert Blyleven plus the GMC plays of the week. The Tribe Report tomorrow night on Sports Time Ohio. Bottom of the 3rd here in Cincinnati. I think did something happen on the outfield, the bullpen door when
the home run was hit?
When Urban crashed into it?
It's not closing. Come on, get one of those young, strong kids to pull the door shut. It's not latching from the inside.
Is it good enough? Apparently so.
We'll find out when somebody else runs into it. There's Urban. Yeah, see, he knocked that padding off. That fence took a pretty good hit.
Jose Peraza takes a strike. Came in riding a 6-game hitting streak. And Clevenger gets a hit 0-2.
Well, he hit the first pitch of the game and grounded out to short, so he was going to take a couple, and now he's down in the count 0-2. I'd like to send along our birthday wishes tonight. Very happy birthday to Audrey Doran, turning 90 in Lakewood. Tom Kubit is 76. Happy birthday to you both.
All the way to the backstop. Patty Segi in town. Her and Mike are celebrating their 41st wedding anniversary.
Yes, indeed.
Here in Cincinnati. Mike, the Indians' director of travel.
Well, they're from Cincinnati.
They're
So
Natty
home.
natives.
Yes, yes, they are. They're in the Natty.
The 1-2 is up high. Jose Peraza, tough guy to strike out, and the pitch is down low. 3 times this year, he has gone at least 40 plate appearances or more without a strikeout.
Well, now that you mention that, I remember the first time he was in Cleveland. They got him 3 times in one game there when he came back. He was one of the toughest guys to strike out.
But the Indians have one of the best strikeout staffs in baseball. So it's like that old, you know, good pitching, good hitting, who wins?
Yeah.
Well, good pitching, especially good strikeout pitching. When you have guys like Bauer, Kluber, even Clev, when stuff like those guys have.
Yes, they can all get you. Carrasco, Beavers, for his first year, can strike out a lot of guys. Not that you consider him a big strikeout pitcher, but he's certainly capable.
Joey Votto, a ground out his first time up. There's a ball driven to deep center field, and Greg Allen won't get it. He'll play it off the wall, and Votto will go into second base with a double.
Yeah, he hit that ball very hard. Stayed in the ballpark, though. He only has 9 home runs this year, but this is a guy that, you know, he took a couple of pitches early in his first at bat. And he was ready right from the get-go here, and it was a fastball down. And I don't know if it looked like he might have pulled something. I thought either he thought it was a home run or looked something wrong with that left foot.
I noticed that his first time up. You know, he wasn't running real strong down the first baseline when he grounded out. So maybe it's something he's trying to play through.
Yeah, I would think yes. He's probably heavily taped or something like that, and he's not going to bust it unless he absolutely has to, because he was cruising there.
Eugenio Suarez fouls one off right side out of play. Trying to hold up, it's 0-2. Fastball took off on him. 1-2 the count on Suarez.
Yeah, between Votto and Suarez, two very good on-base percentage guys. Votto #1, and Suarez #8 in the league.
Can't get him to chase.
Second guy in this inning, he's had him down 0-2, and they get to the 3-2 count. He had Peraza leading off this inning. He ended up getting him to ground out. He had Suarez down 0-2, and it's now a 3-2 count.
And he walked him. Well, now you got Scooter Gennett with 2 on and 1 out.
Second walk for Clevenger.
And all of a sudden, Clevenger can't throw strikes, and Gomes going to go out. Try to get him back on track here.
Well, that's one thing you have to do. You have to locate that fastball. And he's been able to get, like I said, 2 hitters in this inning, able to get ahead of him 0-2, but just couldn't put him away. One, he was able to get out. The other, he walked.
Indians lead at 2-1, but Cincinnati threatening right here in the 3rd. And he missed again. 2-0. He's now thrown 28 strikes, 25 balls. And a foul out of play. It's 2-1. Pops him up left field. Michael Brantley making the catch. The runners hold. 2 down.
Well, after he fell behind now, he goes a little fastball away, and he missed with 2 of them. So a 2-0 count. He challenged him right there with a fastball, but he beat him to the spot here. This one was inside. Look at Gennett. He knew it, man. He said he had a pitch to hit, and he was just late getting there.
Well, Tucker Barnhart drove one out the other way his first time up. Just barely cleared the wall in left field. And Clevenger misses low, ball one. That's a foul ball. It just hooked wide of the chalk.
Well, look at it. He got him on a fastball away this time, and then I think he just threw a changeup as that ball just gets over, hits the top of the fence, and goes over. His last pitch was a foul ball. That's how they got on the board.
The Indians had asked the umpires to review that home run in the second, thinking a fan may have interfered. A youngster who was reaching for the ball, but video replay showed it was clearly going to go out. He's surrounded by Indians fans in there tonight. 2-1. Inside, 3 balls and a strike. And that's slapped out of play, full count. Tucker Barnhart was a Gold Glove catcher for Cincinnati 2 years ago. Only the 3rd catcher in Cincinnati history to win the Gold Glove. The first, we know, bench. 2 were won by a man named Johnny Edwards in 1963 and 64. And then Johnny Bench won 10 Gold Gloves. He is the gold standard. 3-2, runners go. Ball 4. Man, he's walked 3 tonight, 2 here in the inning. And I don't know if he's frustrated with himself or the umpire on that pitch. Carl Willis is going to go out and try to settle him down either way.
Well, let's take a look at it. See, well, he's missing his target. Gomes was sitting out over the plate, so look how much he missed it by. It was about 2 feet. That one went back inside, and rarely do we see calls being made when that catcher's got to go from outside to inside all the way across the plate to get it called for a strike.
Guys, something Carl Willis has been working with Mike Clevenger with is staying in his delivery a little bit longer. Because he's got all that herky-jerkiness in his delivery, sometimes he comes out of it a little early and the ball tends to go right or left on him. So that's probably what he's talking about, because they've even been using bands in between starts to try to keep his body more upright as he's trying to throw the ball.
Well, then he must be coming out of it early, because his command on the fastball is not where it should be.
Right.
But he was really upset about that last pitch. He thought it should have been called a strike regardless of how much Gomes moved his glove. You could tell that's what he was asking the umpire. That's what he was asking Gomes, Carl Willis, and everybody's just trying to get him refocused now. You got to make pitches to Mason Williams. Forget about what has passed, because now the bases are loaded with 2 down in the inning. And a lot of pitches piling up on him. Williams pulled a single through the right side of the infield his first time up. And a fastball strike. Swings and fouls it out of play. It's 0-2. Did he go? On the appeal, he did. And the inning is over. Mason Williams can't believe it. He's like, are you kidding me? But the Reds leave him loaded. Clevenger gets his 4th strikeout. And after 3 innings of play, it's the Indians 2 and the Reds 1. As we approach the 4th inning, young fan, how about that? Reds
yeah, sure.
Gear, Indians cap.
Nice.
I like it.
She's going to go home a winner.
Jason Kipnis struck out his first time up. Against the Reds in Cleveland, he was 4 for 9 in the series with 4 runs scored, couple of homers, 4 runs batted in. Yesterday, Kipnis batted 3rd in the order for the first time this year and responded with 3 hits, 2 runs batted in. And he also drove a ball to deep center field that was caught shy of the wall. And after the game, Tito said, yeah, he looked like a guy that belonged in the middle of the order. The 1-2. And he got on top of that pitch. So Jason Kipnis continues to swing a pretty hot bat. The Indians had their leadoff man aboard here in the 4th. Well, what a difference it is, though, when you're a manager and you have veteran players that you can move around in the order, not young players who you don't know what to expect because they've never been there.
Tito thought it was right yesterday because he had good numbers against Covey, who was starting against him, you know, and Ramirez was out of the ball game. Diaz hit 4th, and they both get 3 hits. You know, they both had good afternoons. And it just worked out well. But it makes a difference, you know, when you have a track record. Jan Gomes in his first at bat hit an 0-2 pitch. They tried to climb the ladder, a fastball up. He didn't get it high enough, and he got himself a double. But the Indians already with 7 hits.
Pulls that foul. 2-run homer by Jose Ramirez in the third, giving the Indians the lead. After Tucker Barnhart had homered in the second inning to put Cincinnati on top early, 1-0. Almost hit him. He just barely turned out of the way in time. That's not one you're inclined to stick your nose in there when it's coming at you with 90-mile-an-hour plus fastball.
And do you blame him? Get out of the way.
The 2-1 offering. And a double play ball to short. Oh, it's booted by Peraza, and everybody is safe. He won't see an easier double play ball the rest of the year, but that'll be his 14th error on the season.
Well, there goes a double play ball that turns into the error. So yes, that's just a big mistake. I don't know if he took his eye off it early. It's one he'll make 99% of the time, but doesn't make it this one. So the Indians catch a break. Instead of 2 out, nobody on, they have first and second and nobody out.
Greg Allen to the plate. Oh, wow. Homer Bailey just balked. I don't know what happened. Did he hurt himself?
No.
He started into his windup and
What happened?
he
He
just
have a brain
stopped.
cramp?
Okay.
So after the error, let's go. He's in his windup and he's going to throw, and then the ball didn't come out of the glove. He should have thrown anyway.
There's the follow through.
I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that either.
You know what? Just go ahead and throw it. Tell the umpire I threw it. If you can't see it, I'm throwing too hard for you.
Wow.
Either that or he fouled it off. I have never seen that before.
Forgot something.
The ball didn't come out of the glove. That's a first.
And now Allen's going to bunt, and he bunts it right to Bailey. Double play. Oh, no. They call him safe at third. I guess Suarez had to come off the bag. Man.
Well, I'll tell you what, he almost let him get out of the inning, and Allen trying to put a bunt down, and he has not been able to do that for the Indians this year. And you're right, they may challenge that. They may go after that. No, they let it go. They dismissed it. It looked like he tagged Kip on the. I guess he had the hand there.
Now what? Oh, they have the video up on the scoreboard. Live video cut. So that's been remedied. But now you've got an out. The infield's in, and the pitcher Mike Clevenger's at the plate.
Yeah, I don't like the at bat by Allen right there. Second and third, they just made a mistake. You got the pitcher who just couldn't get the ball out of his glove, and then boy, you give him an out, and almost 2 outs with the pitcher coming up next. Yeah, I gotta get into the thinking of that one. Well, see if Clev can help his own cause here.
0-2.
Yeah, he'll start seeing some off-speed breaking balls and splits and everything. I thought he might have had. I would have maybe challenged this. It looked like he tagged him on the leg before he gets the hand back. Hard to tell from that angle, but Kip thought he was in there. He got the hand back. That's a heck of a job to get back there safely.
Yeah, Suarez almost stomped on his hand.
All right, 0-2, heads up for a ball in the dirt.
And the 1-2. Slowed it down. Struck him out. 2 away. 5 strikeouts on the night for Homer Bailey.
He tipped it, but that ball hit the dirt, didn't
it
it?
sure did.
Why didn't somebody say something? Clev was up there. He should have said that ball hit the dirt.
Clearly.
Or get some help from
In
one
the
of the
dirt.
other umpires. He tipped it. It went down into the dirt. That's too late.
Wow.
Too late. They missed it.
Well, now it's up to Lindor. It looked like it was tailor-made for at least a couple of runs, at least 1 run. When you had second and third, nobody out. But an ill-advised bunt attempt by Greg Allen went awry. Then you get the pitcher at the plate. He strikes out. Now we'll see if Lindor can save the day here in the 4th. Up high, 2-0. Lindor snapped an 0 for 12 with a base hit in the 1st inning. Then struck out his last time up. Drilled the foul. Trying to go inside on him. Well, Frankie was waiting on it, but where he threw that pitch, the only thing he could do was hit it foul. That's one of those pitches, though, you always hear people say some pitchers can't throw inside because they're afraid if they miss, it'll get hit hard. There's a perfect example. If he doesn't get that in, it's in the cheap seats and it's a 3-run homer.
Right, but when you get it in, that's about all he could do with it when it's in off the plate.
Pulls that foul.
Like that.
But 2-2. Jason Kipnis, the runner at third base. Yan Gomes is at second. In the dirt. Full count. Michael Brantley on deck. He went inside to strike him out last time up. He does have a base open, but he's got a tough customer on deck. I don't think he'll just rear back and challenge him here.
No, nor should he. Now they want to talk about it. Barnhart's going out there. He put down the sign, and then when he stepped off, Bailey just wasn't convicted on throwing that pitch that he called. So you might as well go over it and talk about it and be sure, because he has a chance to get out of an inning that could have been an ugly inning for him after the error, his own balk. He has a chance to get out of it, and that would be a boost for the Reds if the Indians don't score in this inning. But they have done a lot of damage with 2 outs in this game. 5 hits out of their 7 have come with 2 outs. Now Frankie says, I'm going to call time because I've been waiting long enough.
Could be a key spot here early in this game. We're in the 4th. Here is the payoff pitch. Low, ball 4. The bases are loaded.
Yeah, good patience by Frankie there. He wasn't going to go after it, and they did not give him a fastball. That's the first walk for Homer Bailey tonight, and now Michael Brantley with an opportunity.
Well, and much like Mike Clevenger, Pitch count really piling up on Homer Bailey here now. He's thrown 50 strikes out of his 71 pitches. But the Indians have 7 hits in the game, and the error, of course, helped stake the Indians to a potential rally. Brantley singled and scored in the 3rd.
Michael, bases loaded, 6 for 9 this year. It was a good pitch for Bailey to start off Brantley with that curveball, because you know he's going to take it, but he got it in for a strike.
And he chased 0-2.
Well, that was the change, or I call it the split.
Reds have hit 9 grand slams this year. The Indians have hit 8. And Brantley, who has never hit one before this year, has 2. Fouled away.
Take that eye off that changeup that he swung at earlier. They tried to elevate the fastball past him, and Michael just fouled it off to stay alive, which is a good job. Just foul it off. I think he wants to go back to that changeup to try and get him.
Big bouncing ball to second. And the inning's over. Bailey gets out of an ugly inning. The Indians leave him loaded.
Al Pulowski with you for a moment as we head to Atlanta, Miami, and Atlanta. And today, a big day for Ronald Acuna Jr. He had a home run in Game 1. Atlanta won. Here in Game 2, he hit another one, his 17th of the year. Atlanta leads this one, too. 2-0 over the Marlins. Matt Underwood and Rick Manning back upstairs we go, fellas. And how about Acuna? What a rookie campaign.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're trying to win that doubleheader. Got the first one, I believe, 8-1.
Home half of the 4th, and Phillip Ervin will lead off for Cincinnati. Struck out his first time up. Mike Clevenger worked a 1-2-3 first inning. He could use another one here. Both he and his counterpart, Homer Bailey, working out of bases loaded situations. Clevenger in the bottom of the third, Bailey in the top of the fourth, and there's a line drive smash in the center.
Well, they get their leadoff man aboard. There's a fastball right down the heart of the plate. So that command is eluding him with his fastball.
And it brings up Preston Tucker, who walked his first time up.
Don't know these young players well enough to know if they may try a hit and run in this situation. Only because you have your pitcher on deck, but no, that's not going to happen.
Well, Arch, not only do you not know him, I'm not sure Jim Riggleman knows him well
Yeah,
enough to
right.
pull that yet. Just came over at the trading deadline from Atlanta, did Preston Tucker. And now Homer Bailey to the plate. Bailey struck out his first time up.
This Cincinnati Red team, they have played against the good teams in baseball very well this year. Beginning in June, the Reds went 4-0 against the Cubs, then 2-1 against Atlanta. They split with Milwaukee 2-2. They beat us 2 games out of the 3. They were 3-1 against Philadelphia, and they just beat 2 out of 3 Arizona. So they have done a great job, and there you go, the return favor. The bunt popped up. Clevenger takes it, out number 2.
I love those plays. Everybody's converging, and Clevenger, he's like a wild man. He's going to make the play. Usually the pitchers just get out of the way, but he's going 100 miles an hour after that ball.
Yeah, well, he wants to make sure it's caught, and rightfully so. You watch him. Possessed. He's coming in. Now, Alonso's calling for it, but get out of the way. Look at, he put the brakes on. He had to put the brakes on because Clevenger cut him off.
That's where position players just say, pitchers.
No, as long as the ball is caught. But you know what? I see it from both sides now. But you know what? You're right. If a position player calls for it, get out of the way.
Irvin able to just barely get back ahead of the tag. Outside. Runner goes, and a foul back.
Yeah, then I think that's what they're figuring with the 1-2 count. Start my runner. Good chance you'll see a breaking ball, which Peraza did, but he fouled it off. You know, and you're still in the getting into the mid part of this ball game, and it's worth a chance to get that stolen base if it's a ball, you got a chance, and he steals it to get him in. And if he gets thrown out, you still have your leadoff hitter coming next inning.
Runner goes, pitch is up high, throw down, it's close, and the call is safe.
Well, Kipnis couldn't get the tag. He overslides the base, and he came off. And by the time Kipnis was, he was reaching back for that tag, he was able to get his hand back in there. Watch him go and overslide. Kip has to lean back to tag him, and there it is. Plenty of time, but he goes to the other side of the base. He was trying to get up and tag him. You couldn't move. He needed 2 more arms to lift him up and the 2 to tag him with it. So that goes as a stolen base. So the chance pays off. That's got to be a helpless feeling down there, and you just can't move.
Can't move, yeah.
And you see he's off the base, and you can't get up to get to him.
And a foul right back. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the 4th. And the Indians leading it 2-1. Three-two. Way outside and off the glove it goes. So a wild pitch sends Irvin to third, and Peraza to first on the walk.
Well, come on out to the ballpark on Saturday to honor Indians legend and Baseball Hall of Famer Jim Thome. 20,000 fans are going to receive a Jim Thome jersey. That'll be courtesy of Car Parts Warehouse. And pregame festivities include a Jim Thome Hall of Fame celebration, when the Indians will host the Baltimore Orioles. That'll be in town for the weekend. Get your tickets at Indians.com or use the ballpark app.
Not a big crowd here in Cincinnati, but man, there are a lot of Indians fans. Joey Votto takes it up high. Votto doubled to deep center field his last time up.
Tonight is the 4th time that Clevenger has walked 4 guys in a ball game.
And that's fouled back 2-1.
Well, he had a good first inning. But boy, the pitches have piled high. We're only in the 4th inning, and he is at 80 pitches.
Up high, 3-1.
Here's one of those hitters. He's like a Joe Mauer. They don't go out of the strike zone to swing. You're going to have to throw strikes if you get them out. If not, he'll be looking at a season high 5 walks here with a 3-1 count.
walked him, and they're loaded. For the second inning in a row, Cincinnati has bases loaded with 2 outs. And once again, we'll see Carl Willis. Joey Votto has, it's hard to believe, as good a hitter as he is, he's never won a batting title. He's finished in the top 10 8 times. His closest finish was second in 2010. He hit .324 that year. 2016, he was third with a .326 average. But he has led the league
on base percentage,
sure. A bunch. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 times he's led on
that
base
he walks
percentage.
so many times.
Yeah.
You know, he's a patient, very patient hitter, and he's #1 again in on base percentage. But Clevenger in hot water now. You got to face the most dangerous hitter they have in their lineup, Suarez. You keep getting yourself in hot water. So one of these days, there are times you're not going to get out of it.
OP and OT are both up in the bullpen, but OP is warming up. OT is just standing up.
This happened against Cincinnati back in Cleveland.
Yeah. Mike Clevenger's last stand. Fastball fouled back, or actually an off-speed pitch fouled back by Suarez.
He was sitting on the slider, and boy, oh boy, fouled it straight back.
Phillip Ervin tying run at third. Jose Peraza go-ahead run at second. Votto at first. Infield, outfield, straight up for Suarez. Chased a high fastball. It's 0-2.
He gets that one about the letters, and he was able to get him to chase that one. So now another 0-2 count. Can he put him away?
Two of the best teams in baseball in doing damage in bases loaded situations. Reds with 9 grand slams on the year. The Indians with 8.
Yeah, Suarez has one of those 9 this year. 3 in his career.
Two and two. Look at Gomes, just trying to settle down.
Yeah, he's that fastball's all over the place. We have seen it a number of times tonight. He gets 0-2 and he lets guys right back into the count.
It's like the ball has a mind of its own some nights. But Clevenger still a chance to get out of trouble here. The 2-2. Weekly tap right back to him. A diving stop. Inning over. A swan dive stop for Mike Clevenger as the Reds leave him loaded for the second inning in a row, and the Indians lead it 2-1. Ball is brought to you by the 2019 Kia Sorento, the perfect getaway vehicle. Visit KiaDealers.com to learn more. And by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. Jose Ramirez, 2 for 2 tonight. And back in the third inning, his home run gave the Indians a 2-1 lead. Another look courtesy of StatCast AI, powered by AWS. Homer Bailey's pitch is down low, ball 1.
Getting an off day, comes right back out, and he's 2 for 2, huh?
Not surprising, are you?
No, I'm not. Not at all.
And a foul right back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. How about that? 7 of his 35 homers this year have come against the National League.
Tied with his buddy over there in Milwaukee, Jesus.
He tried to do the Jose shuffle. Not the shuffle, the Jose strut.
Yeah.
Tried to do
exactly.
As a way to sort of pay tribute to his buddy, but only one person can do the Jose strut, and that's Jose. Two balls, 2 strikes. And a ground ball to first, fielded by Votto. Bailey beats him to the bag, 1 down. Well, the Indians, I mentioned earlier, had gone through a spell here in Cincinnati where they couldn't win. They had lost 7 in a row. In that 7-game losing streak here in Cincinnati, they were averaging just over 2 runs a game. They had hit 5 homers in those 7 games and 14 extra base hits. Since then, they've won 5 out of 7, averaging 5.5 runs a game. They've hit 13 homers and have 29 extra base hits.
What do we say about this ballpark? It's a good park to hit in.
Yeah.
So you have to score runs if you want to win in this ballpark.
Yeah, the likelihood of this 2-1 score holding up is not good. You would think in this park you better score at least 5.
That would be a good number coming into it. Well, both teams have had opportunities.
Yeah, that's true.
To put a lot on the board. That's why it's a 2-1 game. They haven't been able to get the big hit, either team. And that's why it's a 2-1 game. And both, runs coming on the long ball. Solo home run for Cincinnati, 2-run home runs for the Indians.
Outside, it's 3-0. Swing and a miss. Boy, he took a vicious cut.
Well, you get that 3-0 count, get after it. He certainly did. He didn't leave anything in the bag.
He hits a ball a long way to right. But Irvin able to go back and make the catch, 2 down. Great clip of the game from yesterday. First inning, Melky Cabrera. A 3-run homer. Staked the Indians to a 4-0 lead. And they would go on to win 9-7.
Yeah, they came out early yesterday, 4 runs in that first inning.
High fastball, 2-0. And Melky shoots one into right field. That was a line drive. Base hit. 2-out single keeps the inning alive.
Another 2-out hit, number 6 on the night. And watch Melky get on top of a high fastball. He loves a fastball as well. He can still catch up to it. And boy, a nice swing. Line drive stroke. So that'll give Kipnis a chance.
Jason singled his last time up, and Kip's single was similar to the base hit by Cabrera. It's the line drive to right field.
So far, the Indians on this road trip, 9 of their 14 runs scored have come with 2 outs.
To center. Inning over. Halfway through, 2-1 Cleveland.
Indians lead the Reds 2-1. As Scooter Gennett comes to the plate to lead off the game, I'm going to ask you guys a quick question. When you think of the number 3 in baseball, you think of Earl Averill, Harmon Killebrew, Babe Ruth. You guys think Scooter Gennett chose number 3 because of any of those guys?
I don't know.
No, he isn't. I talked to him earlier today. He's number 3 because he's a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. He even has some shoes that look like the old number 3 car. Huge NASCAR fan. Huge Dale Earnhardt fan. Now remember, he was a kid that was born here, has family from Stark County. He says he's a NASCAR guy, and anytime he can do anything with Dale Earnhardt, he wears it and uses it. Matter of fact, for his nickname weekend, it'll be Little Dale on the back of his jersey.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that was a trick question you got us with.
Well,
you set us up there, Andre.
I got to do some research and have you guys ready.
Little Dale. Okay.
Jeanette just tied the game.
NASCAR, he drove that one out of here.
18th home run of the season. 15th home run allowed by Mike Clevenger.
Well, and all the runs scored now via the long ball. That's their second solo home run. Looked like a breaking ball, and he stayed back down and hit it nicely. Yes, it was a slider out over the plate. He got his arms extended.
Tucker Barnhart's home run in the second inning got Cincinnati on the board first.
Another walk, and that is number 6. That's a new career high for Mike Clevenger. 6 walks in a ball game. So you can see how that ball is all over the place for him, and this is the 3rd time I know that Carl's going out there.
Let's pause for a word from Circle K.
Polar Pop Cup, just 79 cents every day, only at Circle K.
Well, 2-2 our score, runner at first, nobody out. And Mike Clevenger's has had one of those nights, 94 pitches, but he is just on the other side of break even with strikes to balls. Batter will be Mason Williams. He's 1 for 2. Singled in the second inning. That's outside. Two and 0. Popped up, foul, playable. Ramirez. 1 away. That's going to bring up Phillip Ervin, the right fielder who singled, stole a base, went to third on a wild pitch, but was stranded there last inning. Took a rip, fouled it back. Ervin was the 27th overall pick in the draft of just 5 seasons ago.
Again, Mike's ahead 0-2. See if he can get that ground ball, get a double play, get out of the inning.
Out of play, right side. Still 0-2. Rolls it to Kipnis. To Lindor. Back to first. Double play by a whisker. They got him. But a solo homer by Scooter Gennett has tied the game at 2 through 5 in Cincinnati. And it's time now for T-Mobile Built for Baseball. Mike Clevenger running down a pop-up.
Get out of the way.
Diving for a ball. Hey, some nights you got to do whatever it takes to get a win.
Absolutely. He's working hard.
He hasn't had his best command of the season with the
He comes up
6 walks.
too.
But
Well,
hey,
he had to really work hard to get through 5 innings tonight.
and that's the thing that probably speaks to the growth of a young pitcher, whereas, you know, maybe a year or two ago with that kind of command or lack of command, he might have been bombed for 6 or 7 runs and knocked out of the game early.
Could have gotten out of hand.
But somehow he bobbed and weaved his way through and only allowed the 2 solo shots. Homer Bailey gets a fly ball out to start the 6th inning. We're right back here tomorrow night, round 2 in this series. Corey Kluber, Sal Romano, the matchup. Our coverage begins with Indians Live at 6:30. First pitch just after 7 on Sports Time Ohio and streaming on Fox Sports Go. Now Greg Allen, who is 0 for 2. It was Allen who was at the plate in the 4th inning with runners at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, and the pitcher on deck, and curiously chose to try to bunt, and he popped it up, and the catch was made by the pitcher Bailey, and then he struck out Clevenger, and he ended up getting out of the jam.
Yeah, it was a weird situation.
That's going to be fair. And Greg Allen can show off his wheels as he'll fly around the bag. No, he'll stop. He will not challenge the arm of Tucker in left field. And so a 1-out single.
Well, they had Gonzalez on deck earlier, but this one here you go. Line drive, stayed inside the baseball, gets a base hit. Yeah, not a very long throw from that position, so he's going to wisely hold at first base. And we'll get Yandy Diaz. It's a pinch hit for Clevenger.
Yandy added to the roster when the Indians put Edwin Encarnacion on the DL. And you knew this was sort of going to be his role in at least this series because of the lack of the DH.
Yeah, it had Allen made an out, it looked like Gonzalez was going to hit with 2 out and nobody on. But now that a runner on base, he turns to a guy that he's hoping can drive the ball to right center field and make something happen.
Francisco Lindor waiting on deck. There goes Greg. And the throw is a good one. But Allen beats it for a steal, his 9th. And he is yet to be caught this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, Barnhart behind the plate got a very quick release and a strong throwing arm, but Allen just outruns this one and gets the hand in there just in time. That was a very good throw, an accurate throw. He came up, but there it is, just in time. So gets himself in scoring position now. For Allen, his 9th stolen base.
Yandy takes it, pitches low, 2-1. Tell you what, this kid has done a great job in the few opportunities that he's had this year. He's got 10 hits in his last 19 at bats overall.
Coming in, might go for it. 4 for 5, get another base hit. He's done everything asked.
Out of play to the right.
You know, Matt, as you talk about what Yandy's been able to do in the small amount of opportunities he's had, talking to Tito today before the game, he said, I know everybody wants him now, but at some point in time, Yandy Diaz is going to be in the middle of the Indians lineup for a long time. He said, just may not be this year, but he said the way he's done his work, he's going to be in the middle of the Indians lineup. Just give it some time.
Patience is something that fans aren't long on usually. They see a guy have success, they want him here now.
That's true.
2-2. And that's fouled out of play.
Well, the unfortunate thing, though, with Yandy is he doesn't have a position here. He's a third baseman. He's not going to play with Ramirez at third.
You are correct, Arch, but you know what he came out with today? A first baseman's glove with Edwin not here. He's trying to go to first.
Okay.
But I'm with you. I know at some point in time you want to see him out in the outfield. But you had the quote of the day. Some guys are made for the outfield, some are made for the infield.
Yeah, and you know what? He did play some first base down in Columbus, didn't he?
Yes,
a few games. Yeah,
yes.
so I mean, it's not like it's foreign to him.
2-2. Good eye. It's in the
take.
dirt. And Greg almost broke for third, but he picked up the fact that Barnhart didn't have to go far to pick up that loose ball.
Well, a good take, and it's a 3-2 count. He's just got to remain patient. There's 1 out here because I don't think Bailey's going to give in, but you have Lindor on deck. The Indians were able to answer back in the 3rd inning after Cincinnati got on the board. Well, they got on in the 5th. See if they can answer here.
Got a piece. Barnhart couldn't come up with it, so yeah, he'll get another opportunity.
Stay alive. And when you're back there as a catcher and you tip it, you see it went off the thumb of that glove and it goes straight down. That's one of those things that either sticks or it doesn't.
Andre, I wonder if Yandy Diaz has any idea who Ted Kluszewski was. Because he could be the modern day version of that guy if he tore off the sleeves of his jersey.
Oh, yeah. Sleeveless when they used to wear them.
The arms this guy has?
Yeah. Those aren't arms. Those are legs coming out of your arms.
I can't understand why I want to show him off if I had arms like that.
There's a liner to deep left field. Back goes Tucker. He won't get it. It's off the wall. Allen scores the go-ahead run. Into second with an RBI double is Yandy Diaz. Oh, the kid just continues to hit.
That was a P, and boy, he knocked it off the wall. So now 5 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and he drives it up. See the pitch. It was a breaking ball, and he left it on the inner part of the plate. And he looks to search to go to right center field, but he speeds up his bat, and he hit a vicious liner. Well, the Indians come back to retake the lead, and they're going to automatically walk Lindor intentionally. So Riggleman coming out for a double switch.
109 miles an hour off the bat of Diaz. It was smoked. 2 on, 1 out. Jim Riggleman telling home plate umpire Mark Wegner what he intends to do here by taking Bailey out.
Double switch.
His batting spot is due up second in the bottom of the inning.
Yeah, he's got to take Urban out of right field.
And it looks like that'll be Brandon Dixon that's going into right field for Cincinnati. So the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made by Jim Riggleman. And that looks like big Amir Garrett coming on. We'll tell you about all the changes when we come back. It's now 3-2 Cleveland here in the 6th. .6'5", 228-pound left-hander. He can rush it up there with the best of them. I'm sorry, he's 26 now. Turned 26 back in May. He's had a good year.
You know, he's been streaky though. You know, when you look at his numbers, he posted a 1.35 ERA his first 21 appearances, a 7.11 ERA over 22 appearances from that point on. Now his last 11, he's got a 2.25. So it's been up and down, but he's pitching well right now.
Brandon Dixon takes over in right field per the double switch. So Dixon will be batting second. Meaning he goes into the 9th spot in the order. Spots due up second in the bottom half of this inning. Michael Brantley singled and scored in the 3rd inning. And he down the right field line. I think Votto might have got a piece of it. So it slows it down, enabling Diaz to score. Lindor stops at 3rd. It's an RBI double for Michael Brantley. And it's now a 4-2 Indians lead. For Brantley, double number 29 and RBI number 63.
He sure did. He got some leather on it his right, slowed it down. I thought he might catch that ball, but boy, that's gets past him for a double, and it sets up this inning. It's 2nd and 3rd. They better be careful now. They better walk Ramirez here if they did it to Lindor, but right off of the glove, just a piece of leather. Still gets down to the corner for Brantley. They will intentionally walk Ramirez, and Indians will come back with the bases loaded again.
So it's their 2nd bases loaded opportunity of the night. Cincinnati has had 2. The Reds are 0 for 2 with the bases loaded. The Indians are 0 for 1. Yonder Alonso will be the batter, 1 for 3 with a double back in the 3rd inning.
Well, we talked about that 2-1 ball game lasting in this ballpark. Indians with a chance to open it up quite a bit now.
They've out-hit Cincinnati 11-5. Swung on and missed. When Alonso played for Cincinnati early in his career, albeit briefly, he said it was great because they had such good teammates. He said, you know, Jay Bruce, Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, Scott Rowland. He said Ramon Hernandez was a terrific teammate. The 0-1. But then they turned around and traded him. And imagine that. And that's what happens too. You know, he was the 7th overall pick in the 08 draft. But that's when Cincinnati had won the division. I think they had finished. They just missed the playoffs the next year. They're trying to get there, so they trade Yonder Alonso to San Diego along with Edinson Volquez and Yasmani Grandal from Atletos, thinking that would be the guy to maybe
get him over the hump. Yeah.
But they were fighting with St. Louis in those years, and the Cardinals were really rolling.
Well, he slowed it down the first 2 pitches and was able to get swings, but he wasn't going to give him much to hit, and tried to get him to chase there, but he did not. This is where you almost have to, if you're going to sit on that breaking ball, you got to foul off the fastball. Don't try to get a hit with it, because you'll be too late. And they're going to try and keep those runners stranded, so he's going for the punch out.
Just missed with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Amir Garrett grew up in Henderson, Nevada, but he went on to play college basketball at St. John. Played in the NIT tournament.
It's quite away from home, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not kidding. Coast to coast.
There you go. There's another fastball he missed with. So that's just a show pitch, unless he could make the perfect pitch with it. He hasn't to this point, but I'm thinking he's going for the punch out. Well, you're liable to see another breaking ball coming.
Look at Cincinnati. I mean, that's about as straight up as you'll see anybody play defensively.
Yes, indeed. For Alonso, yes. But with the bases loaded, they have to sit there, and if they get a ground ball, go for 2.
Swung on and missed. Garrett strikes him out. That's what he needed. That's what he got. 2 down.
Comes back with the slider compared to the curveball, and that was a good pitch. It was on the outside edge, so he didn't get a piece of it. He couldn't take it. They get to out number 2.
So both teams 0 for 2 and bases loaded opportunities tonight. Indians get one more chance. Melky Cabrera 1 for 3 on the night. Fouled out of play. base hit right back up the middle. Lindor scores. Brantley's coming home. Throw to the plate, not in time. Throw down to second. Cabrera beats it. Ramirez dives back in safely at third. 6-2 Cleveland on a 2-out, 2-run single to center by the milkman, Melky Cabrera.
The theme of the road trip was let's score with 2 outs, and this is a huge hit right now. It gives them a little breathing room, and that was a breaking ball, and it just got past the glove of Garrett and into center field, and this ball was going everywhere. The throw comes home, he was just safe. They throw down to second, he was safe. They were looking back at third, but a big 2-out base hit by Cabrera, and now he will come out of the ball game. Geyer's going to pinch run for him. He'll go to right for defense. So this is a beautiful inning here for the Indians. And I'll tell you what, the crowd here there's a lot of Indians fans.
Might be more Indians fans than Reds fans.
It certainly looks like it. So a nice base hit right there to end your night on.
Jason Kipnis, the 9th man to bat in the inning. Oh, that's hit well. Deep center. Back goes Williams. Still going back. He can't make the play. 2 more score. Kipnis into second base with a 2-run double. 8-2 Indians.
Just a matter of getting the key hit. They were able to do it this inning. And Kipnis drove that ball to deep center. I mean, deep center. Williams has been playing shallow all night. Gets burned on this one. That ball short hops the wall. They have a 6-run inning.
Boy, Jason Kipnis is feeling a whole lot better at the plate right now.
Yes, he is. And I think that's I'm thinking 18th time where they've had 5 or more runs in an inning.
A 6-run 6th for Cleveland.
That is the 18th time. Boston is the only team that have scored more in 5 or more in an inning. 21 times, 22 times. Look at that. They're not going to quit.
Line drive left field corner. Gomes brings home Kipnis. Jan into second with an RBI double. 7 in the 6th for Cleveland. And remember, it was just a month ago when they scored 9 runs in an inning against these Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, the game 3 of that series. And Gomes with his second double of the night. Boy, once that big hit comes and they score, it just seems like the pressure's off and guys just get up there and they relax and they're hitting it all over the place. So what do they have? 14 hits now. This has been a huge inning. They've sent 10 to the plate already. As pitching coach Danny Darwin talks to Amir Garrett, and he has been no relief.
6 hits in the inning. And Greg Allen singled, stole a base, and scored earlier in this 6th inning. And Greg sends a high fly ball. The center fielder Williams will make the catch. What an inning for the Indians. 6 hits, 7 runs, and they've opened up a 9-2 lead on the Reds.
savings and access to Tribe Rewards. Today's Tribe Rewards code is pitcher. Visit Indians.com for complete details. Speaking of pitchers, we have a new one.
Yeah, Andrew Miller coming on for the Indians in relief of Mike Clevenger. 22nd appearance for Miller this year. We'll have the bottom part of the order. Preston Tucker, Brandon Dixon, then back to the top, Jose Peraza. Brandon Geyer, after pinch running for Melky Cabrera, stays in the game in right field. And Miller with a first pitch strike to Tucker, who walked in the second, fly to left in the fourth. Wow, what an inning for the Indians bats. Missed outside. 1-2. Whoa, swung on and missed. Tucker couldn't have hit that with a boat oar.
Now let's check out this nasty slider. Got him to chase it, gets his strikeout. And that's when, you know, as a left-handed hitter, he gets ahead of you. That's a tough one. What do you do? That thing just, it's like a frisbee.
Brandon Dixon. Called up on July 21st from AAA. His first 37 games at Louisville this year, he batted .326. And he got called up to the Reds on May 22nd. Appeared in 29 games and then went back to Louisville on the 4th of July. Oh, he blisters this one by a diving Ramirez, and he's headed to second base with a one-out double.
Well, he put a really nice swing on that slider inside. Starting to come in, and he turned on it. And just smokes it down the line. You can see Ramirez, he couldn't get over there, down into the corner. So Dixon gets a double. That is the 6th hit for Cincinnati. They have 2 homers and now 2 doubles.
Jose Peraza 0 for 2 with a walk. Missed up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the hole, cut off by Ramirez, but he can't recover in time to make a play. And so back-to-back singles, or back-to-back hits, I should say, for the Reds. And they've got 2 on with 1 out, and Joey Votto coming up. Just didn't stick in the glove.
You know what, that, and I don't know if his wheels were spinning. No, he was able to get there, and it just didn't stick. You're right. Falls out of the glove, and once it comes out, they're not going to be able to get him because it was a tough play, but I thought his wheels were spinning a little bit in that dirt, but he got to it, just couldn't hold on to it.
Joey Votto swings at the first pitch, and a fly ball to left. Pretty routine for Brantley. And the runners have to hold 2 down. Hey, tonight on Training Camp Daily, Jim Donovan, Doug Deacon, and Tony Grossi break down the Browns' preseason win in New York. Plus, hear from tight end David Njoku. Training Camp Daily, presented by 7-Up tonight at 11 on Sports Time Ohio. Eugenio Suarez is 0 for 2 tonight. He bats with 2-on-2 out here in the 6th. Fastball strike to Suarez. Since his last return from the disabled list, this is the 5th game that Andrew Miller has pitched in. And the 2 hits in this inning are more than he had allowed in the previous 4 outings. Combined, he'd only given up 1 hit, but he had walked 2 in those first 4 outings and hit a batter. 1 hopper to Lindor. He'll go to second for the inning-ending force. Through 6, the Indians 9, the Reds 2. To buy your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Well, we roll on to inning number 7. And Cincinnati goes back to the bullpen. Left-hander Wandy Peralta will be the new pitcher. Amir Garrett went just 2/3 of an inning, charged with 4 runs on 4 hits. 1 walk, 1 strikeout. And defensively, Kurt Casale takes over for Joey Votto at first base. Rajay Davis pinch hitting. No balls, 2 strikes the count. Yandy Diaz had one of the biggest hits of the night, really, when you think about it. Indians had the makings of a rally in that 6th inning, and he's the guy that really lit the fuse with that RBI double. Mid-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. It was 2-2, and then the rocket. And that made it 3-2.
That ball went off.
And it was 4-2.
And then, yeah, then the wheels came off.
And it was 6-2. And it was 8-2.
Yeah, they just, I'll tell you what, that one hit, and you're right, that when Allen got the single and then they pinch hit Diaz, and that hit, that just opened up the floodgates, man, and they just continued to hit the baseball. 6 hits in that inning. They had 7 runs.
What do you think of Yandy's flow there?
Right now, yeah, I like it.
I think Andre's jealous of that, all that moss he's got working, huh?
Well, let's hear it. Come on, Andre. I know you want to say something.
They won't let me in.
There's the 1-1.
They're closing you out, huh?
They let me out. You know, I'm not a jealous type, so I would give him very much credit for the nice hair that he has, even though I make fun of him daily for it.
I saw him come after you today, right before the game when you were out there.
He comes after me every day. I tell him he needs to work on his legs. Hey, by the way, Lindor scored his 100th run that last inning of the season, and Raj heard me say that. And Raj Davis looked at me and says, you know, my whole career, I've been trying to score 100 runs in one season. He says, I don't think people understand how tough that is to get to.
Yeah, he's got the second half of August and all of September to go to add on.
He was on pace to set a new franchise record for runs scored. That's
141, I think, or 42 was he.
I think he needed 141. I'll have to go back and look again. There's a ground ball single in the left. And Lindor has his 2nd hit of the night. It's going to bring up Michael Brantley. And Brantley has 2 hits tonight, an RBI and 2 runs scored. Brantley takes a strike. Michael really kind of heating it up again offensively. Not that he ever goes into a slump. But
right. When he goes into a slump, his batting average comes down to about 292 or 293, and then he gets it back up to over 300 again.
I mean, May, he tore it up in May. He had 38 hits in the month of May. So he only had 25 hits in June, 27 hits in July. But he's out to a quick start here in August. We're just about halfway through the month. But he has, what now, 13 hits in the month of August.
Well, back-to-back days now that the Indians' offenses have 9 runs on the board. 15 hits already. They're over the 500 mark on the road. We talked about in the open, and that's been a long time coming.
There's a liner and a base hit. That's 3 hits for Brantley tonight. Lindor racing to 3rd.
Boy, he is. He's swinging it well. Just a nice line drive on the breaking ball. It was away, but it wasn't away enough as he just lines it over the head of Scooter Gennett there at second base. And look at, he's going to go cruising into 3rd, and he's looking to come and add on and get another run.
So Frankie's got 100 runs scored on the year. 44 games left after tonight. And the club record is 140 by Earl Averill in 1931. Robbie Alomar scored 138 in 1999. Tris Speaker 137 back in 1920. Grady Sizemore scored 134 runs back in 06. So if he continues on this pace that he has pretty much had throughout this part of the season, he's going to be
He'll
right
be
there.
close to it. Yes, he
right
will.
there with all those guys.
Well, I don't have any doubt that he will continue to get on. It's getting him home sometimes.
Well, he's been on 4 times tonight. He was thrown out of his own volition trying to steal in the first inning, but they stranded him in the 4th, brought him home in the 6th. We'll see if they get him home here in the 7th.
Well, it's a free at bat for Jose. 1st and 3rd, just 1 out. He can look to elevate one.
Ramirez 3rd in the American League in runs batted in with 86. And a ground ball single into left field. He'll drive home Lindor. Frankie with his 2nd run scored of the night. Ramirez has driven home 3, and it's 10-2 Cleveland.
3 straight hits and another breaking ball coming the way of Jose Ramirez as he hits it between short and 3rd. He didn't get it in enough. Even though he hit it out in front of the plate, he found the right spot and the right hole. 17 hits now for the Indians, and you're right, that 3rd game in Cincinnati after they came in and beat the Indians the first 2 games, they scored that 19 runs. They had the 19-run ball game.
And that was the game they had the big inning. And I think it was early in that game. Let me look back here. It was the 3rd inning in which they scored 9 runs, and they were off and running the rest of that night. What did you say earlier, though? 16 times?
18.
18 times?
5 or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, only Boston has outscored them. And that makes sense because they're the #1 team in the league in scoring runs, but the Indians have done their fair share. But not only 5, but they put 9, 7. They've had some really huge innings this year.
And 15 times they've scored 10 or more runs in a game. So Red Sox and Cubs, the only teams that have done it more.
Well, getting double digits is not an easy thing to do. That's why the first 5 or 6 hitters in this lineup have 60 RBIs, and they continue to add on.
Yeah.
And now you're getting help from the bottom with Kipnis, who's starting to swing the bat. Gomes has had a good night, couple of doubles and a ribby.
And, you know, we see this a lot where when you get a team down, in other words, when you get out to a big lead, teams don't want to burn their best bullpen guys in those games. So you're going to get sort of that second wave of relief pitchers, and against a good hitting lineup like this one, they can feast, and they have.
And you know what they don't do? And it's this team does not give away at bats. I don't care what the score is. I mean,
True.
if they're losing, they don't give them away. And when they're winning, they just put up quality at bats. And that's, as a team, when you do that, you wear teams down. You wear pitchers down. And if you're not on your game, I'll tell you what, they're going to get you eventually.
Well, Homer Bailey's a good example of that tonight. He pitched well, but he's, you know, 6th inning, maybe started to run out of gas a little bit. Maybe they wore him down. Alonso fouls out for the 2nd out of the inning. And as well as he pitched, by the time he left with the bases loaded, he ends up being charged with 5 runs.
Yeah.
And so what was a pretty good night for him ends up looking like a bad night.
Because the bullpen came in and Garrett couldn't get the out he needed.
Brandon Guyer gets his first at bat of the night.
obviously here's a guy that he's facing a lefty. He came into the game for defense, but now he hasn't had an at-bat. He wants to get an opportunity here to drive in a run or get a hit or do something. Even though it's 10-2, he wants to add on.
In the dirt. Dyer sends one right back to Peralta, and the inning is over. Stretch time in Cincinnati, 10-2 Cleveland. Oliver Perez will come on to pitch here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Andrew Miller worked a scoreless 6th. Did allow a couple of hits. Didn't walk anybody, struck out a batter. And now Oliver Perez. And boy, we talk about so often in baseball how, you know, the season has so many twists and turns. It's a long journey from opening day to the end of September, early October. But you go back to, you know, spring training, you're looking at who's going to fill out the final spots. There weren't a lot of spots up for grabs on this club when they went to Goodyear. They were looking for some relief help to try to fill out the bullpen. And it became, from day one, a struggle to find and identify who those guys would be. And it took until a month ago, really.
It changes a lot, doesn't it?
When Neil Ramirez and Oliver Perez both sort of kind of fell into place. They said, okay, now there's a couple of guys that can help.
They stabilized it.
And they made the trade. Brad Hand, Adam Simber. You get Miller back now as he tries to round himself into shape. But it goes back to, with this guy right here, Oliver Perez. It's one of those moves, and that's the beauty of, like, if you're a front office guy in baseball. These are the moves you have to live for, because, you know, the big trades, they generate all the headlines, and they get the most attention. But these are the little moves that people don't pay attention to that get you through a season.
He was in the minor leagues with the New York Yankees when they picked him up, and I guess he had, what, an out in his clause or in his contract at that point in time. And yes, and he's been over here, and it gives Tito another left-hander, you know. So when Miller comes back, and it gives him two, and he may have another left-hander before the season's all said and done. But this guy really has done a great job.
And for a guy who's been around, Arch, this is a veteran.
Well, that's what they like,
But
too.
he's walked right in here, and I have not seen, I can't tell you I have seen a single instance of, big league.
No.
He works his tail off. He's always trying to get better.
You know what? You never know he's around. He's here. He does his job, and he does it well. He fit in. He fit in seamlessly.
You know why he fits in, guys? The guys in the bullpen tell me he has the most energy out of them. You wouldn't know that he's the vet down there. He doesn't like you said, he doesn't big league them. He helps them out. He's all about winning. And and Tito said, without him and having those 3 lefties, he said he's never had 3 lefties.
Yeah.
But he loves what it can do early in the game, especially when you start getting to playoff games where you can neutralize a hitter early in the game because you have him out there.
Oh, what a play by Jason Kipnis. Yes, sir. Diving up the middle. Loves getting that uniform dirty. That time, he just robbed Mason Williams of a hit.
This one clearly in the Indians' favor. 10-2 now as we reach the 8th inning here in Cincinnati, along with Jensen Lewis, Al Pulowski. So offense good, pitching pretty good. And we had a family stop by with some good wishes for Leonis Martin.
We did. The Coleman family, who are season ticket holders. They're from Tiffin, Ohio. And just Leonis, if you're watching out there, just a big get well soon from a couple of youngsters here that made the trip. Got a foul ball. Wanted to wish the best to Leonis.
All right, so there you go. So best wishes to Leonis. Indians, big winners right now. 2 more innings to go. 10-2 is the score. We'll wrap it up on Indians Live. It's brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care after the game. Matt and Rick, back to you.
Jensen, I have a question. How was the welcome home parade today?
Well, it got canceled because we needed some sleep. We needed some mama's home cooking, and that puts you in a food coma. So a little sleeping in. Thanks, boys.
Jensen and I will be up next with Indians Live. Jensen back home here in his hometown of Cincinnati. Went to Anderson High School. And Jason Kipnis with a long fly ball out to start the 8th inning. Man, he's swinging the bat well. Even his outs, he's getting through. He's driving the ball, Arch, and that's something maybe he didn't see and didn't get the results earlier in the year.
It's good to see. I thought about a week or so ago he turned it around. When remember I said, boy, that bat looks quick, and then all of a sudden he went back, had a couple bad games, but he's bounced back. A couple more guys in this ball game for Cincinnati.
Dilson Herrera taking over at second base. Swing and a miss by Yan Gomes. Cody Reed, the last of the 3 lefties in Cincinnati's bullpen. And Gomes dumps a single into right field, and that's his 3rd hit of the night. Miller time. No, it's not Miller time. It's the Miller Lite hold true moment. And this was a big moment.
Sure was. A slider coming off the bat of Diaz at 109 miles per hour. I mean, came off that wall in a hurry. And that just opened it up for the rest of this team. They ended up following suit.
Yeah, boy, it's fun to see that guy get an opportunity and just run with it the way he has.
Yeah. What, 5 for 6 now with runners in scoring position?
Yeah, he's got what, 11 hits in his last 20 at bats.
Yeah. Yeah, he had 3 yesterday, and I was thinking now you got to go to a National League park where, you know, you don't have the DH. It's unfortunate, but he stepped right in.
And I don't think since he has a lefty starter going.
No, they do not.
Greg Allen.
See Gonzalez on deck.
And that will all but empty the Indians bench, leaving Roberto Perez, the backup catcher. The only man that will not have appeared. Greg Allen goes down swinging, 2 down. Well, let's take a look at the box score. In a National League city, you get a lot of people involved. Lindor with a couple of big hits, 2 runs scored, going over 100 now on the year. Brantley, another big night.
A lot of crooked numbers there. That's how most people like to look at the box scores when they see your team scoring a lot of runs.
A 7-run 6th inning. If you joined us late.
Well, yeah, remember it was a 2-1 game at one point.
We roll on to the bottom of the 8th, 10-2 Cleveland.
Festival, August 25th and 26th. That'll take place in downtown Cleveland. Catch performances by New Order, the Yvette Brothers, SZA, AWOL Nation, the Revivalists, Cake, and many more. Don't want to miss out on the biggest party to rock Cleveland this summer. Go to purchase your single day or weekend tickets. Go to Encaya.com.
Neil Ramirez will be the 4th pitcher of the night for Cleveland. Comes on after Oliver Perez worked a scoreless 7th inning. And Ramirez kind of in line with what we were talking about with Oliver Perez. And he was an interesting guy because he was in spring training. And, you know, a lot of us looked at him and wondered, I wonder if this guy is just getting an opportunity to, you know, pitch in spring training. So, you know, maybe if there's an opportunity somewhere else, because it didn't look like he was going to make the Indians ball club, but he went to Columbus. I mean, he's been around. He pitched for a number of different organizations. He went down to Columbus, did a nice job. And lo and behold, even though last year he pitched in 3 different places, the Giants, the Mets, and he pitched in the minor leagues at Syracuse. He had an ERA of 8.71 with San Francisco, 6.43 with the Mets, and 6.14 with Syracuse in the minor leagues, which might have led people to believe, he's probably done. But no. He's 29 years old. He's bounced back with a big year here in the minor leagues, and now with this Indians bullpen. Not always perfect, ups and downs. But I think what was impressive, Arch, this first time we saw him, is live fastball and a slider that when it's on is very good.
Yeah, he's been talking to Bauer about that slider, but what he has done, he helped stabilize the bullpen when it was struggling for a while there, you know, when Miller was out.
This is deep to left. Brantley is back, and it's gone. Clear the wall at 379 in left field. Kurt Casale in his first at bat of the night.
That's the 3rd solo home run tonight. That was a low fastball. Casale gets under it and drives it into the seats. And one guy not happy about that is going to be Neil Ramirez.
Preston Tucker struck out his last time up. Foul back. There's the fastball up there at 96. Tucker is out looking, 1 down. Recapping our storylines tonight, brought to you by your Ford dealers. Homer Bailey. Reds have not done well when he has pitched, and they're not doing well again here tonight. And Lindor and Ramirez, part of the story. But it seems like when the Indians have a big day, if they're not involved, then that's a story.
Well, Hosey, he had the day off yesterday, and he came right out of the chute and was 2 for 2 and gave him the lead early with his 35th home run. Man, he's flipped it around. What did he have, 29 last year? He's trying for that 30th for a long time.
High pop. Let's see if it stays in play. Ramirez. No.
You guys talk about the 30 home runs for Jose. The thing that jumps out to me, I looked this up after we talked about Frankie getting 100 runs scored. Now he's at 101. Do you guys know the last 2 years he scored 99 runs in both years?
Has he really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
So he was close last year and the year before, but never got to 100. Now with 40-some games left, he's at 101.
Yeah, it's been an amazing season for both of those guys. When you talk about the numbers that they put up.
You know what amazed me is I think we showed it in Chicago. career stats and numbers and games, and
they're
it was almost
identical.
identical for those guys on that side of the field. It's remarkable how close those numbers are for both of them.
Hits, average.
Yeah, and they're superstars, and only going to get better.
Doubles, yeah. And they play every single day.
With energy.
Out of play. Goes back to a comment that Grover used to use a lot, and at the time I just thought it was sort of one of those throwaway cliche lines. Everyday players are everyday players for a reason.
He's right.
But the longer you stay around, the longer you realize there's more to that than just a catchphrase. 2 down.
No, it isn't, because, you know, there's times where, why aren't you playing this guy more? Why aren't you playing this guy more? Okay, I'll play him. Let me play him 2 weeks straight and see how you like him. You know,
that's
either bench me or
and that's the other phrase, quote, in baseball that I didn't understand at first. Bench me or trade me. I didn't, what does that mean? And then I was like, okay.
Overexposed.
Yeah. Mike Keegan's the one that first used to say that. I'm like, I don't understand that, Mike. We bench me or trade me.
They look good for little spurts, but you leave them in there for any length of time, and they get overexposed.
Don't play me too much.
Yeah. That's why they're good role players.
Right.
And when you see good everyday players, even when they're not playing their best and they hit a little downtime, they still find a way to do something positive to, you know, help the ball club win.
Still find a way to impact the game,
Yeah,
whether it's
they really do.
stealing a base,
Making a play.
defensive play.
Yeah, you play defense. You do the little things you have to do. Being at the right place at the right time. But that's how teams feed off guys that play every day. They know when a guy's hurting and when he's not feeling good and he can't give it his all, and the rest of the guys pick you up because they know you're out there battling.
Ramirez fires to first to retire Peraza, and the inning is over. We go to the ninth, 10-3 Cleveland. Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be. Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Well, we go to the ninth inning, and here's something you don't see every day: an outfielder pitching and a pitcher playing the outfield.
How about that?
Brandon Dixon, who was in right field, will come on to pitch. It's the first time he's ever Been on the bump here in the big leagues, and way off behind him in the distance, there's Michael Lorenzen. He's a pitcher.
Hey, the last time we played Cincinnati, he's throwing a knuckleball. Remember Alex Blandino? We showed it in
yeah,
Chicago.
that's right.
He threw the knuckleball. Well, he's out for the year. He's hurt, but this guy was throwing knuckleballs in warm-ups as well.
Oh boy!
And we said there's more pitchers, or position players pitching this year than ever before.
Lindor pops it up right at home plate. Actually, it carries out toward the pitcher's mound, and that'll be caught by the third baseman Suarez, 1 down.
Here you go, warm-ups. Watch it hit the catcher in the mask. I was watching him do it, and he wasn't telling him. How about that?
He's like, hey, bro, if you're going to throw that, let me know. Give me a little heads up. Michael Brantley already a 3-hit night.
That's 67. I think it's just a knuckleball. When we used to play catch and you have time and you're always getting loose, we used to throw knuckleballs to see how good it was, and I mean bouncing all over the place. But can you do it in a game? And these guys can.
I remember your buddy Nunu.
Jeff Newman used to have the best one.
It was a heavy
He'd handcuff you.
Yeah.
And he would laugh when it hit you. Hey, play catch with me. I got to get loose. He'd call people up, and I'm telling you, handcuff you.
I saw it a number of times.
I felt it a couple of times.
2-1. Brantley drives one high in the air to left. Tucker makes the catch, 2 down.
This is the one I want to see, the at-bat.
This the one we could charge admission for?
I would think so. If you got that knuckle, you better throw it to this guy.
Jose Ramirez. A 2-run homer, an RBI single. He also had a base hit in the first inning, intentionally walked and scored. So 3 runs batted in, 3 hits, and 2 runs scored tonight for Ramirez.
66, 67 mile an hour. Just not trying to do too much. That had to be the heater there. He snuck one by him, sitting on the knuckler.
Oh, he struck him out, lost the bat.
You gotta laugh. I knew this was gonna go good.
We go to the bottom of the 9th. That's one thing Reds fans can smile about tonight. Big. It was a 2-2 game, and he came off the bench as a pinch hitter with 1 out, drove the ball off the wall, go-ahead run scored, and that sparked a 7-run 6th inning. And the Indians lead at 10-3 here, bottom of the 9th. New pitcher is Dan Otero. Dilson Herrera leading off. First at bat of the night. Takes ball 1. Swung on and missed. That ball had good down and in movement. Cracked his bat and foul into the seats.
Let's take a look at the knuckleball. He swings at it. He loses the bat because you knew he was going to swing hard. Now watch the bench. Whoa. Hey, and then after he took his helmet off, as he was walking out to third base, he looked over there and said, "Yeah, knuckleball." He was telling his teammates that's what it was.
He was also telling them in his own way, "Shut up." Dilson Herrera goes down swinging, 1 away. I know we said it's been happening more this year than we've ever seen before, as far as position players getting up there on the bump and trying to save the bullpen an inning or two at the end of a game. How often do you ever remember seeing that?
It was a rarity, you know, not too often at all. I mean, it's when pitchers were down, they couldn't pitch, and you know, they'd go around, the guy would say, "Does anybody want to go in there?" I always said, "No, thank you." But no, it's occasionally. You wouldn't see it as often as you have this year, and there's still a ways to go.
Oh yeah,
and it should never happen, I guess, in September.
That's
because,
a good point. Once
you know
we get
what I
to
mean?
September, it shouldn't be an issue with the expanded
No,
roster.
it should not be. But way more now than ever used to happen.
Dan Otero has Suarez down on the count 1-2. Checked, it was low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 20,607 the attendance tonight here in Cincinnati, and most of them wearing the Indians gear.
It really was remarkable how many got up to cheer when things were going good.
Kitness has a long way to go, can't get there. And Suarez has a 1-out single. Well, back in Cleveland, this was July 11th. This was Alex Blandino.
Boy,
he came on, position player, but look at the knuckleball.
Look at this one. I mean, that is almost perfect. That thing just floated in there, and there you go. You get a strikeout. And we come back tonight, and you get another one. I don't know if Danny Darwin, the pitching coach, is teaching these everyday guys what to do if they ever go in, but there's 2 pretty good knuckleballs they've seen.
Yeah.
And it's a little different, even if you're not a pitcher, to throw it in a game coming off the mound.
Here's Michael Lorenzen. You saw the numbers. Lorenzen has 3 homers, 6 runs batted in. He has only 5 strikeouts. Oh, but he's only been at bat 16 times. He's got a base hit here. 2 on, 1 out.
Well, what were we doing today when we got here early? Their pitchers were out there hitting every day, and you go out and you watch them, and you know those guys have an opportunity because they start from spring training. They have a clue of what to do in the batter's box, more so than the American League pitchers who never take batting practice.
Yeah, that guy knows what he's doing, though. You could see just by the way he swung
I think
the
he
bat.
hit a grand slam for him this year, didn't he?
Well, he's got 3 homers and 6 RBIs for the year. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got a grand slam
he?
out of their 9. They have 2 pitchers that have grand slams.
Tucker Barnhart takes a pitch down low. Let's see. DeSclafani has a grand slam.
Okay, and then Lorenzen.
And Lorenzen has a grand slam. Fly ball, shallow center. Lindor's out, and he'll make the catch. 2 down. And it brings up Mason Williams. Just a reminder, Indians Live with Alan Jensen coming up next. And we'll be back here tomorrow night. Game 2 of this series between Cleveland and Cincinnati. Not a lot of action tonight in baseball, is there?
Well, I think there were about 8 teams that were off. I think there were 10 games going on tonight. 10 or 11.
Fouled back. Yeah, Minnesota was idle though, correct? I don't see them on the schedule.
I think you're right. I know one thing. The one game that was going on, it started now, is the Athletics and Mariners, and the A's have a 1-0 lead going into the 2nd inning.
Oh, 1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Indians fans coming to their feet. Up high. 1-2. Gomes jumps up, but it stays foul. We'll try again. 2 on, 2 out, a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Mason Williams. Two and two. Ground ball towards second. Kitten has it, throws to first, and this one goes to the Tribe. They have evened the season series at 2 games apiece. They take the opener here in Cincinnati by a final score of 10-3. Mike Clevenger will get the win. He goes to 8-7. The loss will go to Homer Bailey, and he is now 1-10 on the year. Cincinnati goes to 52-67. The Indians are now 67-51. They lead the Minnesota Twins by